Good afternoon, David. How are you today?
Hi, Peter. Yeah, I'm good. The sun's shining. It's clearly shining with you too. So
It's certainly, yes, absolutely. I do have to point out that this wearing a white shirt makes me look more orange than I am. All right, just sort of get that out there. And I don't have the IT skill. Maybe you could help, but to get a filter that makes me look a bit more normal color. But anyway, there we go. There we go. So look, David, thanks very much for taking the time to chat on Business Spotlight. Could we start by, if you could tell me a little about yourself, your background and your business, please?
sure. Don't let the grey hair fool you, but I have been around for a wee while in the IT industry. So my background's very much left college. Everybody was advising me to get into computers at the time. I couldn't have told you what a computer did at the time, but I went with the flow. And I managed to get a placement on the course I was doing. I had a summer placement with an organization, and when I finished my course, they offered me a job as a junior engineer. You know, that was back when engineers actually fixed things with soldering irons, and it took two men to lift a computer, sort of thing. So that's how I got started. I've managed to bluff my way through that industry to where I am today. Moved into sales probably about 10 years or so into that, when I realized that I hadn't got that thirst for keeping the tech knowledge up to date, and I had more alignment with customers and relationships. So that's where I've spent my time. About 10 years ago, working for a large IT company, big acquisition happened. That's always a time for, do you stay, do you go? Look, myself and my business partner Dell decided to go. We'd worked very well together. We'd spotted a gap in the market as we saw it, which was a lack of maybe sales professionalism, sales expertise. Definitely lead generation was a problem. So we formed a sales consultancy business, which very quickly turned into a lead generation business, because that was the pain the customers were telling us about. If only we had more leads. So we've doubled down on that, and that's where we are today.
And are there any particular types of business or people that would benefit the most from the service that you offer?
Yeah, great question. Initially, we thought it was going to be very much sales. People would have been the people who would have benefited. And it turned out that it was actually more the marketing folk were the people who had the problem, because sales guys were saying the marketing, give us more leads. So it was they were looking internally to solve the problem. The marketeers were looking externally to solve the problem. So it took us a while to realize that all my old sales contacts weren't necessarily the folks who we were trying to solve the problem. Ultimately, it might have been solving their problem, but there was a different route in. And what we've done is double down on the IT industry. So from vendor right down through distribution, right down to reseller, managed service provider. That's the industry we know. You know, that's all my grey hairs were generated from. So I know that industry. We know that industry very well. So at least when we're speaking to a new client, they get a sense of, these guys understand this. And if they've got a solution, that's good. If it was pharmaceutical, they'd rumble me in the first conversation that I know nothing about that industry. So that's really helped us focus, and it's paid dividends, you know, so we've got a good solid base of technology clients. We do sell to some others, but we don't actively promote ourselves outside of the IT space.
And is there any particular platform or means that you focus on particularly in order to generate leads for these IT businesses?
Yeah, I got another great question. So we do all the things you'd expect a marketing agency to do, all that good stuff that we do, but we've doubled down on LinkedIn. So we see LinkedIn, we did see LinkedIn as being the kind of game changer. It was the social network for business people. You know, there was no real other network out there. You have Twitter for sort of very, you know, unidirectional stuff, but not for building relationships. LinkedIn has offered that, dare I say, Facebook feel to it, if you like, but in a business context. So it allows you to network and engage and build rapport with a digital audience. And we've actually built our own platform to help us do that. So, you know, we loved it so much, we actually built our own software. So, you know, that would be our differentiator in terms of that's what we focus on. LinkedIn would be our primary method of generating leads and opportunities for our clients.
Yeah, I love a bit of LinkedIn myself. Now I have to confess, but it also in my day-to-day of speaking to various business owners, there's still a lot of people that are Not so much. A lot of people say to me, "Yeah, I don't really do a huge amount of LinkedIn." So there's still vast opportunities for businesses.
No,
They're
it's a great
large
point.
and small.
Yeah, I mean, we see that too. A lot of people who would say, "No, we don't really do LinkedIn," is because they're maybe a little bit frightened of it, And if you think you're going to embarrass yourself, you kind of stay away from it. So, like, I'm not like I know from a technology background sort of thing, but I'm not a tech guy. Like, I'm not in writing code, and I can find a way around LinkedIn, no bother. I now do posts. Now, 10 years ago, you wouldn't have got me doing a post. Now I find it much easier, but I also see the reason why you would do it, and it is about sharing insights and adding some value back. It isn't, people will say it as, yeah, first of all, it was a recruitment platform. That's just a recruitment platform. Yeah, it can be. Then it's a sales platform. Yeah, but it's also an information platform. It's offering insights, and there's nothing you like better than somebody who offers you a nugget of information which helps you do your job or solves a problem. So if we approach it that way as organizations, then you should get some value back. But you've got to give it out first. I always say it's a karma platform. Don't expect everything to come to you for nothing. You've got to give first before you get back. And I guess that's just life,
Absolutely. David, we could sit here and talk about the virtues of LinkedIn for hours on end. And I can sense a coffee separate to this interview coming around that. However, and it is, but Jen, it's great to hear someone as passionate about it and able to clearly articulate the merits and how to get the most out of LinkedIn in simple steps. So David, what would you say has been the most significant lesson that you've learned as a business owner so far?
So that's an easy one. So bear in mind, I used to be a sales director, had a big team of people working for me, worked in a big corporate organization. The salary was paid every month. Nothing was a problem. Yes, you had stresses or whatever. Running your own business is different. It adds a certain level. And I realized, and through no small part to Adele, my business partner, who actually held the mirror up to say, you need to look in this mirror now to see, like, what is it you're doing now? What is your role? Because it ain't the role you used to do. It's a different role. And that was a big aha moment for me. And I had to actually reinvent myself. I had to become, rather than managing sales, I had to be the salesperson. But the one thing that really resonated with me, which never really did before, it was probably there at the back of my mind, was it isn't about us. It isn't about me. The customers don't really care about us or what's under the bonnet. What they do care about is what's their challenge, or where are they looking for competitive advantage. And if you don't find that out first, and if you don't try to find that, then everything after that, if you make a sale, it's more luck than judgment, because individuals out there are trying to solve problems. So if I understand their problem, I can then say, I think I can help, or actually, I don't think I can, but here's a guy or girl who can. And I think that was the big aha for me, because I don't remember in the corporate world ever thinking like that. Customers really came to you because you were a big house to solve a problem, as opposed to me going out to try to sell them something proactively. So that would be I had to change myself in terms of what I did. And I also then had to walk in the shoes of the customers first before I ever tried to sell to them.
And over your years in business, has there been any business leaders that have particularly resonated with you or given you some inspiration along the way?
Yeah, look, that's a good question. I definitely at certain times of your life, there's definitely been people who've made an impact. I mean, I worked with Ed Vernon and Big Systems back in the day, and he was a force of nature, unique guy. And I did all my early learning, if you like, with him. Now, even halfway through that, it changed because he was changing and developing, very focused on development programs. So that was my kind of early years, if you like. And you get to a point then where you kind of think you know it all and you don't learn so much. But the second person who came into play then was Adele Madden, who's our CEO, who I started the business with. And Adele is unique in terms of she can think strategically. Yeah, she's very firm and very strong, but very fair. And over time, anybody who comes in the contact with her, hook in for life because they see the value that she brings. So definitely brought the best out of me in terms of, not just letting me be bullish and walk all over the place. She's actually pulled me back and says, well, actually, that may not be the right way to do it. What? Me? Get that wrong? So that's a constant over the last maybe 20 years. And, well, we wouldn't be here now. If this was me doing this on my own, well, I wouldn't be talking to you now. That's just the bottom line. So Adele, who's our CEO, would definitely be the one who would stand pretty much head and shoulders above everybody else. So delighted that that's an internal person as opposed to someone who's out there that I'm not engaged with anymore. It's nice to have that constant in the business.
What would you say has been the toughest obstacle that you've had to overcome in the business journey so far?
Yeah. That's a good question. There's lots of, and again, in those first few years, it's acquiring clients, it's cash flow, it's, paying yourself or not paying yourself. But what happens is you forget about all that pain. If you think, that's pain at a point in time. I would always say that, the best thing I ever did was start a business, but I'll never start a business again. Now, I've already proven that not true because we did start another business. Don't talk about that, but that's good. But you do forget, it's like pain. You forget the pain. The biggest impact, I guess, over the last 10 years has to be COVID. It changed everything. It forced us to think differently. It forced us to engage with our customers differently. The way we meet people, I used to do 20,000 miles a year. I'm doing 10,000 miles a year in the car. And that's because people don't need to see me. So we had to adapt and adopt to that. Now, I'm not selling now, but because we're a digital first agency, that has kind of played into us, if you like. So our growth, even after the first sort of 3-month wobble where the world wobbled, lockdown, what the hell, nobody's buying, the world stopped, and we all wondered what's going to happen. As that hockey stick started to flick up, whenever we were coming out of the lockdown, our business started to grow at a rate that we'd never seen before. So we've grown more percentage-wise since COVID than we did in all the years up until COVID. So it's been a real positive for us, but it's definitely the biggest negative and positive impact, if that makes sense.
And if it were possible and you could go back in time 20-ish years and speak to your 18-year-old self, what sort of advice would you be giving the young David?
Yeah, it's probably closer to 30 years, but that's all right. Thanks. You got to say 20. That's a good question. You know what? I always like to think of no regrets. So everything I did then, I would say I've been very lucky. Getting into computers when I wasn't that guy who wanted to get into computers, you know what I mean? I just fell into computers and made a career in it. But I've always, in everything I've done, I've enjoyed. I've been fortunate in terms of, the whole journey has been enjoyment. So my advice now would be keep going. Just keep doing what you're doing. It all works out okay. So I have no big insightful, do this, young man. I would just say, just keep it. Just keep doing what you're doing, because it all works out. So that's probably not the right answer, but that's
yeah. No, hey, listen, there's no such thing as a wrong answer. The big question would the young David have listened to you when you told him to keep her lit? That's the big question.
Probably not. I was too busy trying to figure out the difference between hardware and software and what does this all mean to be listening to some old guy. Do you know what I mean? So probably not.
And as we approach the midpoint of 2023, what new or upcoming initiatives are you most excited about for the rest of this year and indeed beyond? Yeah,
another great question. We always take a review, at the start of every year, what's our theme going to be? And, we've developed some great software to enable our clients to grow. And we've asked this question a few times in terms of, the why. Why do we do this? What's it? Why do you run a business? Why do you get so much enjoyment out of it? The simple thing from both Adele and I think that's where we would, be similar. And probably that's the only bit we're similar in. We're just two different, beasts in terms of, the way we think and do things. But we're both passionate about business growth. more so our customers' growth. You know, we worry more about their growth than we do ours, and that's a wee bit like, you know, cobbler's worst shod sort of thing. You know, you spend all your time working on your clients. Oh, I need to do our marketing, or I need to do our development. But what we found is the more we focus on our customer success, then we've grown. So we've kind of always had that mantra, and it hasn't shaken. The passion hasn't died at all. And there's nothing delights us more than a customer thanking us or giving us praise, or giving one of our team praise, you know, and that gives us all that we need. So it's more of the same, you know. Yes, there'll be lots of different small tactical initiatives, but the essence, and we're fortunate to have a good customer base now who we're emotionally wedded to, if you like, you know, that keep us busy. And we're very fortunate in terms of referrals and the likes of LinkedIn to use to acquire more clients. So yeah, I think we'll just keep doing what we're doing. There's a lot of the passion's there, we'll keep doing it. Once the passion goes, it'll probably be a too hard job to do, in which case it's time to step by and let somebody else go. But for now, we're still both very passionate about the client.
Fantastic. And David, if somebody likes what they've heard and would like to reach out and get in touch with you or Excel, what would be the best way to go about that?
LinkedIn. I've got to say LinkedIn. So like, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you know, or, you know, search Excel or search me, you've got my contact details. So I'm one of these believers in give them it all. Mobile's on there, email's on there. You know, you can message me on LinkedIn or connect with me on LinkedIn. That's the easy way. You know, that's the constant, if you like. You know, so if you can go there, you'll always be able to go there and find that information out. So that's probably the easiest way to do that. But yeah, more than happy to have a chat.
Brilliant. Well, David McCullough from Excel, it's been absolutely fantastic to hear about your journey and your business. So much of what you've said resonates with me, and I'm sure it will resonate with a lot of people that listen to this as well. So thank you very much for your time today. I wish you all the success for the remainder of 2023 and beyond. David, thank you very much indeed.
Enjoy talking to you, and we will get that coffee because we were very close, so we'll get that coffee very soon.
Fantastic.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.